All right, welcome everyone back to my channel. My name is Fo Aduni, and I have a special guest with me here today, stylist JC. So if you want to introduce yourself, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
So, hello, my name is JC Dobson. I am a curly specialist here in Norman, Oklahoma. I've been doing hair for just under 20 years now, and curls are my focus. So, all things curls, blowing them out, coloring them, cutting the curls, all of that. So,
Oh my gosh, 20 years. I didn't realize I was getting like, what do they call it? Master stylist. I didn't
that,
realize I didn't realize I was getting a master stylist.
look, I don't feel like a master of nothing. I'm gonna tell you now, like it's a journey. It's a journey to learning and stuff.
Okay. Okay. So I guess, to let you all know, the topic of today's conversation is basically Black tight curl artists rock. Black tight curl artists, they really do rock. We're going to get into some amazing connections, some historical connections in terms of Black tight curl artists and activists and hairstylists of the past. And just also, some current conversations about Black tight curl artists that are popular right now out on the internet streets, as Aisha would say. So, Aisha, Black Girl Curls. So the first thing that I want to get into, and I'm reading my notes, you all, is okay. So, and is it okay if I call you JC, just JC, or do you want me to say okay? So, JC. So, just address the elephant in the room. So on your salon Instagram, you have the quote, "Don't let the YouTube rabbit hole fool you again." Now, what do you mean by that? Don't let the YouTube rabbit hole fool you again.
Well, exactly that. So we all know that the minute you log into YouTube and you watch a few videos of literally anything, it's a rabbit hole. It'll suck you in. You'll be clicking on all the videos and this, that, and the third of how to cook this, how to cook that, how to fix this, how to fix that. Hair this, hair that, makeup this, makeup that. Like is what I call the YouTube rabbit hole. And you fall down in there. It's hard to get out. It's hard to get out. We all know that.
Yeah. So I think that that's a good point to move into. So how do you feel about, the way that some Black type curl artists, Black in particular type curl artists, are addressing natural hair influencers that have been sharing their hair care experiences or sharing what they feel is hair care advice, natural hair care advice. How do you feel about the way some Black type curl artists are addressing natural hair influencers on the internet?
I honestly feel like they're being straightforward. It's a direct message to natural hair influencers, those that feel like they're influencers, or well, at this point, even if you don't feel like you are. It's just being straight, just being direct. It's not a coming for anybody. It's just, hey, you said this is what it actually is, so here, this is how it actually goes. That's it. So just
Yeah.
direct.
Yeah. And I mean, the way that I feel about it is, for me personally, relationships with tight curl artists, Black tight curl artists, and YouTubers or natural hair influencers. I know some people might find the influencer title, they don't like it, but my relationship with both parties is so important to me as somebody that's doing research on Black hair and activism as a whole. So I don't want to compromise that relationship in any way. But I can also say that with Black type curl artists, you all were a saving grace. I just gotta say it. You all were a saving grace, because the information that was provided to me in this clear, succinct format by Black Girl Curls and also from Hydra Bar Salon, it was just so simple. It laid everything out for me. The expectations I should have from stylists, the expectations I should have with my hair, how to care for my hair. It made everything digestible for me. I was in the digital salon when it was called the digital salon, and I mean, just clicking through those modules, it laid out everything very plain for me in a way that I've been natural for over a decade. And I wasn't getting that sort of clarity from just looking at YouTubers. And there were YouTubers that I enjoyed just watching, like Black Onyx, who's Rochelle, the owner of Allocate Natural, and who else I watched? Kim A Tube. I watched these YouTubers, and I didn't get the same clarity and stability from them that I got from, say, a Black Girl Curls or a Hydra Barcelona. And that's not a dig to them, but I also wasn't getting clarity from the stylist that I was going to, because I didn't know what to look for from them. I didn't, yeah. So I got the language that I got from mainly Black Girl Curls when it comes to the language of what to look for from a stylist, like to actually go to a stylist and be looking for this sort of pictures, this sort of portfolio, these sort of expectations. I didn't know what to look for. And all of that was just cleanly and crisply put together for me from Black Girl Curls. So I'm happy about Black tight curl artists coming on the scene. And for me, they rock. For me, they are amazing. And I just want to ask you, so why do you think that Black tight curl artists are amazing? They rock, they're unique. What's your take on that?
My take is the fact that exactly what you said. We make everything very simple. It's 1, 2, 3, ABC. That's it, and this is the package for you. It's just making sure that you're able to feel good in your skin, making sure that you're able to have the services that you need, and getting your time back. Like, you're not in just to get a basic something. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the reasons, a few reasons why we rock. We take what it is that we do very seriously, especially since there has been this onslaught of stylists. I don't want to call it hate, because some of it is funny. You know, we can laugh at ourselves, you know, but disrespect. Just straight up disrespect for the craft, disrespect for what's going on. And you know, there have been times, you know, people just aren't used to a salon running like that, systems running like that, a stylist being that direct with what it is that the systems say that the objective is, and this, that, and the third. And sometimes I think people feel like it's so simple that it can't be right. And so I think that we're showing up and showing out, and, you know, in a major way, because it was not always like that. The principles that I have now are the principles I've had my whole career. But now it's such a thing. It's like, you know, everybody's on a megaphone now. So, and there's more people that are thinking the same way in the same profession. So I think it's just amplified. And I think that is awesome. We're out here doing the work.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, you all are. And so I want to touch on something. I want to touch on the fact that when it comes to you all's tone, when it comes to Black tight curl artists, people complain about tone, and some people say that Black tight curl artists are condescending on the internet and things like that. And I'm neutral on that in particular. But what I do want to say is that Black hairstylists have historically not been politically correct. They have historically not been politically correct. They have said what they wanted to say and just moved in ways that other Black people didn't feel like they were able to move, because Black hairstylists have been self-employed, even in times where that wasn't an expectation for Black people. Like, for example, the early 1900s, you have Madam C.J. Walker, you have Annie Turnbull Malone, and they were doing all sorts of political activism and being outspoken in ways that were unheard of for Black women of the time. And they were able to do these things because they were self-employed. So certain respectability politics they didn't navigate in the same way. Now, when it was advantageous to them, they did, you know, kind of give in to certain respectability politics. But a lot of times when you look back at some of the things that Madam CJ Walker said, I know some people might be like, oh, she said that. But that's because she's like, listen, I'm self-employed, like, honey. So I feel like, you know, a lot of the way that you all address people, it comes from that culture of Black hairstylists being able to be themselves. So, I mean, like I said, I'm neutral on whether I feel like it's condescending or not, because listen, the relationships are important to me, but I also noticed that there's nothing new under the sun, and Black hairstylists have been talking like this. So I just wanted to point that out. So I want to talk about something else. So I've noticed.
Can I say something about us been talking like that? It's twofold, honestly. Why we talk like that is partially because we are creative people. So anybody creative minded, creative spirited, comes at life at a completely different angle, thinks about things from a completely different angle. And then the fact straight up that we're Black folks, we just say stuff. It's just a fact.
I feel like with Black people, a big part of our culture is you talk your trash. Like you say your stuff. Like Aisha was talking about how with hairstylists, you all say things and it's kind of like a rap battle. It's not supposed to be taken personally, but you know what I'm saying? But you talk your stuff. And and you know what's crazy to me is that a lot of influencers are saying that you all are coming at influencers in particular, but something that I've noticed is that some of y'all have that same heat for each other. The way I've seen stylists, like, you know, I've seen stylists, you know, address other stylists' hair care methods and be like, you know, but mine is the best. But so-and-so don't know what they doing. And I'm like, you all even have that same energy for each other. Like, so I'm like, but it is what it is. And so I think that, you know, people don't get that. Like, for example, I saw the dude, the owner of the dude, she posted this post where she was like, you know, I've done more heads than, what she said? She said, I've done more heads than an influencer. I do more heads on a slow week than an influencer does in a whole year or something like that. Yeah. And I know that some influencers, they might be offended by that, but I'm like, that's her whole thing. That's her whole personality. It's like rap, like the whole culture, like you speak your stuff.
But
like
not only is it her personality, but it's just the fact.
It's true. It is true.
It's just a fact. Like when you're spitting facts, I mean, what am I supposed to not say that I've done more? I would hope so. In almost 20 years, I would have done more heads than any influencer on the planet. Like, it is foolish of me to say otherwise, to be perfectly honest. And I mean, you know, you just have to speak straight facts. And that is what it is. We're just spitting straight facts, and people want things coddled and wrapped up in tissue and handed over to them. That's not the way it goes, especially if you come in with some trash stuff going on. We gotta cut it off at the knees. Like we have to, because at this point, like I always say, the natural hair community has coddled Black women about their hair. Girl, just say what it is. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your practices. I'm talking about what it is that you do, what it is you may have said, how you have led folks astray. These things, like, that's what I'm talking about. This is not a knock on your character, your personality, your this, that, and the third, your essence. You know, this is just like, if I say something crazy and wrong, I mean, I would want somebody to say, yo, JC, that's not right. This is, and then show me what is right and why I'm wrong. And be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you got me. Just
and then I think there's this piece where I haven't fully developed my thoughts around it, where people are wondering, so in what ways do we give natural hair influencers their flowers? In what ways do we give them their credit? I think that's what some people feel. They're like, okay, you're addressing that. Some influencers feel, well, you're saying that we spread misinformation, but what about how we've inspired other women to go natural? What about how some of us help people with length retention? Maybe the information wasn't exactly on par with what you all do professionally, but we help people retain length. You know, we kept hair on their head when stylists were turning them away, saying natural hair is, some stylists were saying natural hair is a phase or, you know, a trend. So I think that there's that piece there where they're like, okay, so give us our flowers, give us our credit as natural hair influencers.
You definitely have to give credit where credit is due, because it takes a lot, to be quite honest, to get in front of a camera and tell people what it is that you do for you. And then to get the backlash that comes with that, you know, however that backlash may look, you know, it takes a lot to actually go ahead and do that, and to continue to do that and do it for years, and you know what I'm saying, all of that stuff. So yeah, and then there's people, they see somebody else, oh, if they can do it, then maybe I can do it. So the encouragement factor, you know, the girlfriend, the sister friend thing of it all, then yeah, that is definitely commendable for sure. Like, you gotta have that.
Yeah.
You gotta have that.
Yeah, and I think another place where people are having some confusion, Elise did a video about how we need to stop comparing, as consumers, we need to stop comparing different stylist philosophies. Different stylists have different philosophies. So some people are saying, but this stylist over here is saying that, and this stylist over here is saying that, but Black tight curl artists are telling me that this, and this is wrong. And what I think is a key piece about that is people have to select a stylist that they feel like those hair care practices align with their lifestyle, align with their needs, and stick with that philosophy. So I feel like that's another important piece, because there are some things, I'm Nigerian as well as African American, but there are some things that I see really great Nigerian hairstylists doing that Black girl curls would never touch. Like, they're doing things like henna and, you know, using heavy butters, they're using their oils. Look at your face. And they're using these things in the salon. And I know that Black girl curls would never touch, and a lot of Black tight curl artists, they would never touch those things. But I have learned that I have to have a sort of reverence for those practices and not step on those other practices and say they're flat out wrong, because these are the things that they're doing over there, and they're having a success that they feel happy with, these Nigerian hairstylists. I mean, and the results are beautiful, the things that they're doing, the updos, the twists, the this, to that. So there's that. So I keep that in mind. Different stylists have different philosophies. So in those conversations where tight curl artists are saying people are right or wrong, maybe their philosophy doesn't necessarily align with what you're trying to do with your hair. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. My pushback on that is that there is a right and a wrong way.
Okay.
And because there's science is what tells us that there's a right and a wrong way. You can have long, crispy hair.
Oh, that was me. I used to have long, crispy hair.
Just flowing and blowing, but she's crispy.
Yeah,
crispy. And so, I mean, people feel like that's the key to the city. I mean, if that's what you feel like, you do your long crispy over there, but don't come over here trying to inform the people of this and then. That's when I have to step in and say, hey, actually, no, science would not let that go by. That's not right. That's going to get you long, crispy hair.
Yeah.
It's what these people out here that you're teaching want. I mean, inform the people, but it's a lot of times it's not. And so I mean, I have my thing about my, you know, henna. There are certain practices of other cultures and things like that they have for religious reasons, you know, or just because that's just what they do, you know, in other cultures. Because that's just what they have and what they know at the moment. So, but we know that oil for sure is not hydrating nothing.
Yeah.
That thing that is a constant.
Yeah.
So, and the science of henna, it can't be pushed to the side. That doesn't mean that I can't look at someone's hair and say, "Oh, your hair is beautiful." You know what I'm saying? Your hair is beautiful. But like you said, I'm not about to sit here and step on the practices, and just be oh, that's, nah.
That's trash, period. You're not gonna do that.
Like not right away. Not right away.
Not right away. No, you can't do it.
Step on the crack. Now I'm gonna be 100 with you. Now in the DMs, it may go down.
Oh, in the DMs. But you know, that's why I wonder how, with the things that I see, like Nigerian hairstylists, for instance, the things they're doing, and they're creating these beautiful hairstyles with different hair care practices from black tight curl artists. I wonder, once that information reaches them, I wonder how the hair care practices will change. I'm excited to see how things blend or morph or things, because what I've noticed about Black Girl Curl specifically is they'll give information to stylists, and the stylists will take it and make it their own thing. And it's just like, it's beautiful to see what the information transforms into. So, I mean, there's that. And then also another thing about the not using raw, in particular, oils and butters. I think that there's also, this is my consumer perspective, I think that there's maybe some middle ground to explore, where some people can use products that are heavier in oil and butter, but also have a good good cleansing regimen, be using high quality products and doing things that make sense. I think there might be some middle ground, because I think at the end of the day, there are some people that do not want to give up on that coating of, a nice oil and butter on their hair. Some people, they don't want to give up those emollients. So, I mean, and I think of brands like Adwa. Have you ever heard of Adwa Beauty?
Yeah.
They use a lot of oil, and I wouldn't, let me not say that, but I was gonna say, for their stylers, I could see, somebody using that, and feeling a lot more comfortable, feeling like that's a middle ground, as opposed to, the botanical gels that Black Girl Curls often encourage and things like that. I can see somebody using that emollient rich product with a good cleanser, with a high quality cleanser. I can see somebody using those, and that'd be more of a middle ground. Because I know some people are like, they're like, a mousse and a gel. No.
Yeah, like they're like, oh no. So here's the thing about the middle ground. There's a middle ground to literally everything in life. You know what I mean? There are going to be people that they can eat Five Guys every day and not gain a pound. We hate those people, right? We don't, right? We can't stand them. We don't want to invite them to nothing. They can't have nothing. No new friends if you can eat like that. So, but there's going to be people that they cannot, and the majority of people cannot. And so, and that's where the science lives. Those other people, they're in the gray area. And I mean, yeah, you're gonna have those people, they put all types of crap on their hair. They can, pick up dirt, put it on their hair, and go around like that for a whole month. They can, put giraffe spit on their hair. They can put
giraffe spit,
all kinds of substances on their hair, and they're good. That's just called genetics. Honestly, like their hair is just genetically, like, I know there's some influencers that they have done all of the things, all of the trash, and their hair looks good, from through the camera. It may even feel good. But they're just their hair uniforms, you know what I'm saying? So you're definitely going to have that middle ground, but what people need to understand is that act as if you're not in the middle ground. Act as if you're not in the middle ground. Act as if you need, CPR for your hair, and go and just go down that road,
Yeah, and that's this is a little bit this is a little bit of a tangent, but right now that's exactly how I think about my hair. So when I went to my last curly cut appointment, the stylist told me, "Oh, your hair is hydrated. So you can," she was like, "You can try this, you can try that." She was telling me some things from Weedad to mix with this mousse over here and this over there. And I'm hard headed. I didn't try those things despite the humidity because I still want to act as if my hair is needing CPR, like you said. I have these goals in mind for my hair, and I'm scared to do anything that take me away from the goals that I have. So I completely understand what you just said about treating that hair like it needs like CPR. And so another thing that a lot of people, a lot of Black people, a lot of Black women specifically, they don't realize is that the things that they've been doing to their hair have devastated their hair so much that a lot of the variety and things like that they want to participate in, that's not going to get them to their ultimate goals. It's not.
Right.
Have you noticed that? Or am I just...
Yeah. Oh no, I notice it every day sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
I notice it every day. It's not going to get you there. Like, here's the pathway. Hold my hand and let's walk. Don't go there. Don't go. Why are you looking at the shiny object? Come over here. Let's do this. Let's do this.
And some people, they try to clown me. Some people, they're like, "You gonna wear that same wash and go? You gonna wear that same?" And that's what some people are saying to me. But I guess for me, what people don't realize is that this same wash and go has helped me retain over 12 inches of hair in less than 2 years. So I'm gonna do this same wash and go, have this same, retain this length, have this predictable hair. Well, it has been a little bit unpredictable with the weather. I'm not even gonna hold you. But I mean, that's what I want. And that moves me. Yeah, that's what moves me into my next point. So some people, they feel like this wash and go styling, this consistent wash and go styling that a lot of Black tight curl artists encourage, they feel like it's anti-Black. They feel like it's just slathering the hair in gel and mousse. It takes no specialization. They feel like you just, slapping product on the hair and creating curls. How do you feel about those sentiments and people also saying it's anti-Black?
That's wrong. That's wrong. That's crazy talk is what it is. Black women are coming to ask us to help us with their hair, their curl pattern, whatever pattern that may be, tight waves, tight curls, trying to figure out things for them. How do they look? Because for one thing, we know people are buying this hair, okay? They're purchasing the hair on webs. And so, and it's like, you have that hair. Let me show you. And so anti-Blackness, I don't see how that can be anti-Black. This is my hair. This is my hair. My hair, well, this is a week old. It's time. It's time. But
the shape is giving.
I'm
the shape is giving.
Thank you. So all we're doing is capturing what it is that you have and letting it hold up, trying to keep it together for 4 to 7 days. You know what I mean? Give or take, because climate, that's it. Your hair is going to look like that with water, shampoo, conditioner. We're not making something that's not there. That's what people don't understand. You cannot make a pattern. You can hydrate it and encourage it. There's a lot of people that are doing that. And then a lot of times, like, I feel like people that are saying that, a lot of times, you got the outliers, but a lot of times people are saying that because they can't do it.
Exactly.
It really, to sit here and do somebody's hair and make it pop, make it stay, make it hold, give people confidence in a different way, or rather help them with their confidence. Not necessarily give it to them, but help them with their confidence. That is a skill. You take somebody's hair from looking like trash to treasure, that's a skill. I'm just saying. Like, that's just how it is. Like, because people start off, frizzy puffs. Nobody said frizzy is wrong if that's what you want. But if that's not what you want, then it is wrong. Because that's not what you want.
Yeah.
So, wash and goes are always going to be around. Wash and goes have always been around. It just it just looks different. Before it would be juicy and greasy. Now we know we don't do that more. Okay. So it's just the anti-blackness. No.
Yeah.
There's nothing blacker than my hair on my head. This is as black as I can get.
Yeah, and something that I want to point out about you all as Black type curl artists is that you all could look at different heads of hair and look back at your back bar and help decide what sort of finish that hair needs, decide what sort of products. You all can look at a range of products and decide, okay, this will be best for this hair. This will be best for this condition of hair. That is a specialization to be able to have. Sure, you all might have a stable base of a workhorse, one or two products, but you all know how to mix it up. I'm saying an adequate Black type curl artist. You all know how to mix it up. You all know how to do different things, deliver satisfying results on different surface textures, on different curl sizes, all these different things. And that is a skill. That's what people don't realize. You're not just working with one or two products and putting that same product on different people's hair. No, ma'am. Y'all not just slathering. Y'all are putting thought into this.
Yes,
using different products, different techniques.
Yes, like people's hair, it's unique, but it's the same. You know what I mean? It's unique in the sense that there is no type. There is no chart that anyone is on. So it's unique in that we have to account for texture. We have to account for your density. We have to account for how hydrated or dehydrated you are. We have to account for your water quality, which, Oklahoma is trash. We have to account for, you know what I'm saying? We have to account for, are you color treated? And just other things that we have to account for. What's your lifestyle? What's your this, that, and the third? Like, there are things that go into it. Then that's just like going in and getting a blowout. Somebody said, oh, I want to get a blowout, this and the third, and they don't ask you anything. Do you regularly get blowouts? What are you doing today? Do you know it's 98 degrees out here today? Do you know the humidity is 63? Do you know, do you want to waste $80 to come in here and blow out your hair with me? Or do you want to get your curls popping? I'm actually saving you money because you can walk out the door, get into your car, and be pissed off with me in 3 minutes. Watch. But you insisted on that, so it's just it burns me up when people do that. It's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah, so when consumers do that, I understand that it's because they really don't understand what's going on. They don't understand the process. And then also some of them aren't understanding that for some people, as their hair becomes more hydrated, their definition starts to look different. Their definition starts to pop different. Even my definition, since I've become more hydrated, my hair looks different to the point where people now are saying, oh, she got the type of hair, she could just put water on it and go. But it's like, no, my hair is more hydrated. No, that's not how my hair works. It's more hydrated. Some people, they don't necessarily understand that process as consumers. And then in terms of stylists that are saying that Black type curl artists are just slathering product, I really wish that those stylists would just get into some of the education that's offered to Black type curl artists. Yeah, I want them to just get into it so they can get into it and then walk away and still say that this ain't nothing. Because I promise you, they probably won't.
And apply it. Get into. I urge everybody to get some education. That if we all were more educated, we'd be better off, wouldn't we? Like, get some education with what's really going on out here. Like stylists that are saying, oh, do this. It's like, what do you do? Well, I do the same thing you do, not how I do it, not with doing what you talking about doing it. It's not the way it goes. No. Like I tell people all the time, I think the whole 4C situation too, because you were talking about your hair looks a little different now that it's hydrated. But I think the whole 4C situation, I think sometimes people want a sense of belonging and they hold on to that idea of I'm 4C, I'm 4A, I'm for this, that, and the third, and we got our own clique and our own groove and how we do things. And it's like, but if you get underneath some water and get some good detoxing and good shampoo and conditioning, and let's talk and keep doing that weekly, then you'll be singing a different tune. But I think a lot of people don't want, I know my hair. I know what 4C look like. How do you know what imaginary things look like? They're in your
Oh
mind.
gosh, not imaginary. I listen, I'm not gonna get in on that one. Somebody come after me. Yeah, I'm not. You said it.
Yeah, I said it and I posted it. It's fake. It's all imaginary.
Yeah, the thing about the 4C thing, it's like a wound to me. It's like a wound to me. Some of the 4C conversations, and the reason why it is because so many Black people, once they work with their hair in like using different high quality products and high quality practices, they'll realize that they don't have hair that would be considered 4C. You know, I've heard people say that, you know, certain hair types are the most common among Black people, you know, this tightest hair type or this frizziest hair type. And I'm like, that's not necessarily true. That's not what I've seen. You know, so since I've started learning from Black Girl Curls in 2019, when other people would let me mess around with their hair, I would mess around with their hair. So there will be Nigerian people, there'll be African-American people, there'll be people of these different backgrounds, and I'm messing around their hair. And what I'm really seeing as I'm using this high quality shampoo, using this gel, you know, because they let me experiment on them, I'm realizing, oh my goodness, you're 100% Nigerian. You have no white lineage to your knowledge, and you do not have what would be considered 4C hair. So, you know, or I'm looking at this African-American person's hair and I'm seeing all these different curl sizes, from tiny coils to larger curls to large waves to small waves. And I'm like, you know, I don't like how people are putting Black hair in a box and saying the majority of Black people, you know, this is what their hair is supposed to look like. And it's like, that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of variety among us.
Right. There's a lot. It's just a pencil test. That's what I call it. It's just another pencil test. You know, if the pencil sticks in your hair, then you definitely black, and that's not the way it goes. Yeah. It's just not the way it goes. Like, I wish that we would get out of that as a people. Like, we don't need this chart. We don't need it. It means nothing. And then when you look at it, there are so many hair care companies that have their own charts. So that's like, well, what the heck? So where am I now? Because there's some that go up to level 8. Where am I? I'm nowhere. So with all this inclusivity, it becomes madly exclusive. And I think that's just dumb. Just do you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't find myself on that chart because it's not taking into account all the other, you know, hair characteristics that I have. And so it's just like, I just don't think that's a good way to go.
Yeah, and you know, that's why I don't subscribe to the Andre Walker derived hair chart. If people are wondering where the hair chart that we're speaking about, we're talking about the Andre Walker one that was revised by Naturally Curly, the website, I want to say. But I don't subscribe to that because my hair is all sorts of different curl sizes and textures. I mean, I remember when my best friends saw my hair in person, they were like, the top of your hair is like this, but then the bottom of your hair is like this. They're like, how is that gonna come together? So how your haircut is gonna continue to blend? They didn't understand. I said, listen, my Black tight curl artist got me. She gonna figure this out. She understands that this goes this way and this goes this way. we gonna whip something together. And I mean, that speaks to how you all rock. And that brings another point that I want to talk about. Some people, they look at the haircuts that Black tight curl artists are doing and they say, that's that same haircut over and over again. I done seen that same haircut. I'm so tired of that haircut. And I'm just like, I think the reason why some people are having that reaction to the haircuts is because they don't know what to look for. they don't know what they're looking at. So they think it's the same thing, but really it's not the same thing. They just don't understand what they're looking at. Do you get what I'm saying?
100% understand what you're saying. You can, that's just like the Halle Berry cut. When everybody wanted, can you make me look like Halle Berry? No, I cannot. You don't have the same hair as Halle Berry. You don't have the same lifestyle as Halle Berry. You're not getting your hair done nearly as often as Halle Berry. You're not shampooing your hair as often as Halle Berry. You don't have her DNA. You are not Halle Berry.
Oh.
And the same thing for Beyonce. You're not her. You know, so I can't do these things. I can do you. So let's do that. And so it's one of those things that people look at the pictures and it's like, oh, this is the same. Actually, it's not. There's some tweaks that I had to make because I'm taking into consideration this curl pattern here, this wave there, this straight piece back here that's bone straight. Okay. I have quite a bit of people whose back of their hair bone straight. There's nothing that can be done about it. That's called DNA. Okay. You have to take all those things into consideration. And when someone sees something on our pages that they like, what do? Can you do this for me? So they're drawing inspiration off of someone else that we've done. And so it's like, okay, so you find yourself like doing a variation, you know, and then when you have people that are coming out of the fog of the rabbit hole that is natural hair, YouTube, natural hair community, they're coming out of some trash stuff, just straight up. They're coming out of some trash hair care practices, and we're having to start over in a sense. You know what I'm saying? We're having to, yeah, we got to cut it in a certain way because if not, it's going to look whack. That's not hot. Like there are certain shapes, it's just not hot. And you know, you want to be flattering because we're not just cutting for today. We're cutting for day 4 when your hair looks like this because the humidity. We're cutting for day 7 when you're like, shoot, I did not get a chance to shampoo my hair. You know, so things have to still look put together. Your cut is your style. Your cut is your style. Your set is your style, but your cut is really going to determine what happens, you know, for longevity. And then we're cutting for your grow out so that everything is cohesive, everything makes sense. That's one of the reasons why you can have multiple patterns in your hair, multiple textures in your hair, and it works. Everything comes together, it marries perfectly, it's in sync, it's in harmony because the cut. So those that think otherwise, just go sit in what I call an educated curl professional, tight curl professional's hair chair and get your hair cut. Don't be scared to get it cut because the outcome is always going to be greater in the end.
Yeah, and you know, because I think that I'm a walking example of all these different curl sizes and textures being so masterfully blended together because a lot of people when they see my hair, they're like, oh, it's like this. But then, you know, when I start lifting up this over here and showing this over here, that's when they're like, whoa, this front patch is like really like loosey goosey, and then this over here is tight, and then this over. But my tight curl artist, Tiziana, she did this haircut. It's such a beast that she blended everything together. So, I mean, I'm an example of how all these different curl sizes and different things can be brought together. And, you know, I think that's why a lot of consumers, they don't like wash and goes because they're like, oh, I look like a wet dog, or I look like I stuck my finger in an electric socket. My hair is going this way, it's going that way, it's doing this, it's doing that. I got to stretch it. I got to band it. But really, they just need a good cut from a qualified, like, not necessarily, but a tight curl artist.
Yeah. Cut technique. Product, you need all of those things to make it work, and realistic expectations. I always say that realistic expectations, like just know that just because you banded your hair and stretched it out on day 1, just know on day 4 she's going back. Like it's going to shrink back. Like there's nothing but time that's going to give you some more hang. And then also how tight is your pattern, which will also lend to how it hangs. Yeah, and which is also why we don't cut straight.
Yeah, because I know a
It,
lot of people, they're like, yeah, a lot of people, they're like, if you're getting a curly cut, then when you get it straightened, it's gonna look crazy. But the thing is, I never want to get my hair straightened. I don't care about
but
having
it
my
doesn't
hair
look
straightened.
crazy though. That's what people don't understand. Like, it's not going to look crazy when you get it cut curly and you wear it straight. Now, when you get it cut straight and you wear it curly, oh, now you got a problem.
You look like Billy Ray Cyrus.
Billy Ray Cyrus. You look like Florida Evans. You look like all of the things, because it's not, you'll have a short patch right here. It'll be weird and wonky along right here. It's just complete and utter trash, because once again, once you have created this equal level playing field, the hair being all straight and silky and flowing and blowing, guess what? Curly, she's not like that. Curly, she is tight. Curly, she is wavy.
Mm-hmm.
Curly, she is you. So when you see what's going on, I think I posted a video a while back, or I was thinking about posting it, but I had a guest. She was coming in for her cut, and she and this is one of many. She has uh, a loose wave right here, uh, um, a loose curl right here, or yeah, and then like a tight curl over here. If I straighten her hair and then she goes to wear it curly, it's about to be trash. She's going to have a side that's completely shorter than the like. You have to take that into consideration. So there's a reason for, for what it is that we do. We're just not doing it just because it just looks good and fun and it's the trendy thing to do. It's like, no, there's science.
Yes. And something I want to get to, I want to circle back to this. I wanted to talk about it earlier, but about the 4C thing and people having a sense of belonging, a sense of community. I do think it's important for people that feel like their hair is further. Well, how do I explain this? It would be wrong if I didn't admit that there are some people whose hair is the furthest from what's expected of white hair, that their hair is demonized in a certain way. It would be wrong if I didn't admit that. And I do wonder, so what language might be appropriate for them to be able to identify with each other if we're saying that 4C is, mythical and things like that? What language would there be? Maybe tight, I don't know. Tight curls doesn't seem like they want something more exclusive.
They're tight curls.
Mm-hmm.
They're tight curls. They're tight curls. They're tight waves. They're tight. Listen, hair 101. You can either be straight, you can be wavy, you can be curly. Does your hair make a revolution, a full revolution? That's a curl. It doesn't matter how close it is and how far apart it is. If it's a wave, it can either go like that. A zigzag is a wave. It doesn't do that, but it's a zigzag, it's a wave. And then you have straight. So there really aren't any other, there's nothing else. People say coily, that's a tight curl.
Yeah, and I'm happy that you're saying that, because I know that some people take issue with black tight curl artists calling black hair curly. Some people, I've had somebody, comment on my Instagram, and they were upset. They were like, my hair is not curly. My hair doesn't make curls. Yeah, so there's this connotation that everyday consumers have with curly. They don't like that. They're like, that's for white people, or maybe that's for somebody with silky, bouncy curls. But for my tight, froey hair, that shouldn't be called curls. So I think that's where some of the disconnect is. They're not understanding that you all are coming from a very scientific, by the book understanding of what a curl is. They're looking at the connotation of what a curl is and saying, that's what a curl, that's not my hair. You get what I'm saying?
I totally understand. And to that, I would say, I would definitely check your anti-blackness. if you feel that way about the word curls, check your anti-blackness. Because if when you think of curls and all you think of are white girls, you went down the rabbit hole of trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what people are putting out there to say what's curls and what's not. You know your hair is curly. Call it what it is. Because there's this life of there's this thing of natural hair life, curly hair life. Well, the problem with that is natural hair falls into so many different subcategories. It's not even funny. You know, you say, if I were to say, oh, I do natural hair, next thing you know, I get people asking me, do you braid? Do you lock? And I be looking at them like, do you see those pictures? You don't. So I don't do natural hair like that. I straighten natural hair and I make natural hair retain its curl, and I color natural. I do those things. I do people who don't want their hair chemically straightened or chemically curled even. Check your anti-blackness at the door when you think that curly just means white or even simply.
Yeah, and I think that I think the way I said it was about people not thinking of their hair as curly, Black people not thinking of their hair as curly. What I said was, you're putting a limitation on what to expect from Blackness. You're putting a limitation, and you're also giving too much credit to whiteness. I said that in the previous live. You're giving too much credit to whiteness to make the assumption that somehow they started curls, they started curl refining, that they own curls, or even that they own silky hair. They don't own any of those traits. Those traits aren't specific to them. And looking at things when it comes to African diversity, when it comes to, do I want to say that? Y'all go ahead and say it. When it comes to where humanity originated, to say that, to put whiteness as the standard for everything, including curls. That's why I love my wash and goes, because I feel like to an extent it's a reclamation of, this is my curly hair. This is my curls. Yeah, this is my curly hair. I'm not ashamed of having defined curly hair. I like my defined curly hair because of the simplicity and the ease that I have with it, and how the definition is helping me, the healthy definition, those healthy techniques is helping me retain length and helping me care for my hair. So, I mean,
representation of your mother and father. You know what I mean? Like, for me to deny that, about myself, because when I shampoo my hair, when I put water on my hair, what does my hair do? It curls up. Why? Because of my mother and my father. That would be disgraceful for me to, I don't want to define them, because, like, no, just, this is what I have. Like you said, this is how I do this is my version of Blackness.
Yeah. And I think, and I think it's also to, at the same time, you also have to be able to have undefined hair and realize that it's not ugly, it's not terrible, it's not unkempt. It's just, that's just not the aesthetic that you might be going for, or that sort of hair may not fit your, that sort of hairstyling may not fit your lifestyle.
I think that's what they think that we're saying. I think that they think that we're saying, if it's undefined. No, not I think. I know for a fact that that's what a lot of people that either want to live in the undefined side of curls, or that think, I said it, that think that they're 4C, or they have tight waves. I think that there's like, you know what? You just don't like undefined. You just don't like frizz. You just don't like, no, there is a such thing as unwanted frizz. And there's that, like, not everybody wants frizz, and that's fine. But not everybody wants their curls defined. I'm cool with my hair not being just popping all the time. You know what I'm saying? By day 5 or day 6, I'm cool with that. I'm not going back under the water talking I need a refresh. This is what it's going to be for 7 days.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's exactly what they think. They think that we're saying your hair is trash because your curls are undefined. You could be living on this side, this. That's not what we're saying at all. If you want undefined hair, do that. because that's popping on somebody, and that's popping for somebody. Because I do think that there are things that flatter people more than other things. That's how I feel, just the artist in me. But just do it. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
the way I feel, so it's so important for people to accept their hair defined, and the pro-Black thing about it is to be able to accept your hair defined and accept your hair undefined. I think a major thing for me when it comes to undefined hair is I would have to figure out a way to make it more low maintenance. I don't know how to make it's not
a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's
my
not.
afro's back.
It's not a thing. Like, that is, you're going to have tangles, you're going to have this, that, and third. It's not a thing. If you're putting oils and greases and pomades and stuff on there, that's going to lubricate it to help it so you can get the tangles that will surely come out. There is no such thing as maintaining that fro to be low maintenance. No, because you started off undefined. It would be as if you did a wash and go and didn't shampoo it for 14 days.
Ooh.
And was doing this every day.
Oh my gosh, that is so tangly.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's just like it's not a way. But people want to do that, and that's cool, just as long as they have realistic expectations as to what they are going to have to do to maintain that look. And does that work for your lifestyle? Do you have that kind of time? If you don't, you may want to tweak it. May want to do an undefined curl look with the natural styling. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't want to have it like this because it's going to be high maintenance. Maybe without your curls being popping, you do like a cute little roll and tuck or something real cute like that. A natural style.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. I mean, you just gave me an idea. I might have to go back to my pinned up style. Just pop some mousse on there and pin and tuck. I might have to go back to that because the afro, I tried that. I tried to go back to my afro that I love, and baby, I got a big knot over here, and I was just like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do it. But I guess to move to the next point. So something that's crazy to me about people saying that what Black tight curl artists are doing, specializing in, and a lot of you all don't call it wash and goes. A lot of you all call it hydrate and defines or curl sets or all these different things, which are more accurate. Because I know some people say it's not a wash and go. It takes forever. But I'm like, professionals, they have other names besides, wash and go. But we'll say wash and go for the sake of people know what we're talking about. But the crazy thing to me is Black tight curl artists, like Black Girl Curls, like people that are affiliated with them, they are giving so many Black tight curl artists the tools to have lucrative business structures. So to say it's anti-Black when you all are serving Black tight curl artists. Yes, you all are making money. I mean, you all are booked and busy. So I'm like, some people are saying it's anti-Black, but you all are creating, a booming alternative for a lot of Black stylists. So, there's that. What do you think about that?
This is what I think about it. And I'm about to go hard here because it is what it is, because it's coming out of my mouth.
Okay.
If you can say that it is not anti-Black to include and pay what they call now sex workers, oh, they're part of the economic structure too. Oh, they're part of you see what I'm saying? They're part of creating jobs too. They're giving a service to people who want their service too. You got to say the same thing, because a lot of the people, I'm just gonna say it, a lot of the people that are saying this, they mad woke. They sleepwoke. I call them that, sleepwoke. So
Yeah.
they also have this mentality about the sex work game too. And so it's like, well, if you think of it like that, you go ahead and open up Pandora's box and just put us in there too, because that's where we fall to. We're serving people that want to be served, or else we would have no money to feed our children. My children are fed, my husband is fed, my bills are paid, my, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're creating or helping to create or helping to give encouragement to people who don't already have it. You know what I mean? Or just putting people that do have that encourage, feeling about their skills, putting them out there into the forefront or on a pedestal so can be seen, so that other people can continue to, render our services.
Yeah.
There's nothing anti-Black about creating jobs for Black people. There's nothing anti-Black about that. And when you're not hurting anyone doing it, I have to say that, because then people will go down the rabbit hole of, I mean, drug dealers, they do the same thing. People think, oh
Yeah.
no, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah. So I have to say this because it's important to say I work in women's and gender studies. So it's important for me to say, yes, I'm on the same page of there being a legitimacy to sex work. I'm on that same page of things being upfront, of things being, it might, for some sex workers, they may disagree with the standardization, but I know for some people it might be a saving grace to create a sense of safety and things like that. But I noticed that the point that you were highlighting was that if you all are providing a service and you aren't hurting people, what exactly is the issue? You all are providing, you all as Black tight curl artists are providing something that is in demand, this sort of stability when it comes to hair care. Stability.
We're not doing anything that's not being asked of us to do.
Exactly. I mean, so for you all to have this opportunity, and I love the way Black Girl Curls talks to stylists about business structure, about branching out, different ways to branch out, different ways to make your own schedule. And it's history repeating itself. It's history repeating itself because Madam C.J. Walker, Annie Turnbull Malone, they took Black women from having to do domestic jobs and having to do prostitution that they might not want to do. They took Black women from doing those things into making good amounts of money doing hair, yep. selling preparations from door to door, opening up hair schools, creating entire ecosystems of Black hair care. And Black Girl Curls and other tight curl artists are creating these entire ecosystems when it comes to hair care. From y'all got education for consumers and hairstylists. You all got, so you're teaching people in different parts of the world, teaching people, so it's spreading, it's international. So you all are just, it's amazing. It's amazing. Internet, in person, what resource do you need? And it's a repetition of history, what I see Black tight curl artists doing. You all are just, I'm sure if Madam C.J. Walker and Annie Turnbull Malone could see what you all are doing, the way that you all are spreading, the way that you all are viral, yeah, they will be so proud.
That would be amazing. It would be wonderful to see what they think about how the industry has, shifted from what they used to do. But I wanted to add to that, what they did was pre-Mary Kay. I need people to understand this. Mary Kay did the same thing. Mary Kay, a white woman, did the same thing for makeup, for initially for white women, okay, and created her own, for lack of a better term, minions, you know what I'm saying? Created her own crew, and it's worked out for a lot of women. Created, some stability for them in many ways, and it's still thriving today. Even though there's tons of makeup out there, these women are still, I still see pink Cadillacs, okay? Like they're out here, They're killing the game, okay? You think people are gonna say that? They're not saying that about Mary Kay. They'll say that about the black curl stylist though. But they're not saying that about Mary Kay. They'll say that about black girl curls though.
They'll say what specifically?
They'll say it's anti-black. They'll say, they're not saying that Mary Kay was anti-white or anti-women. No, she was giving women an opportunity to do for self. Isn't that what we talk about as black folks? Do for self? I'm just throwing the language back.
Yeah.
We're doing for self. She was giving women an opportunity to give other women what other women wanted and needed, because let's be honest, we still buy with our eyes. And I'm not just talking buying as far as exchanging money. I'm talking about buying as far as exchanging positions, exchanging status. We buy with our eyes. That's just how it is. You come in ragged and torn and this, that, you're going to be hard pressed to get to the status that you want to get to if that's the way you look. And that's just the way it is, especially for women, especially for Black women. Being what I call polished and pulled together is a thing. Whatever that looks like for you, but know that people are looking for that and they are giving that. And that's what Mary Kay did the same thing.
Oh my gosh. Listen, if you read some of the quotes from Madam C.J. Walker and realize how similar some of the things that you're saying are, you will probably, you might cry. You might be like, what is happening? Are my ancestors like speaking through me? Like, what exactly is happening? Yes. And you know what's crazy? There were people that they took issue with the way that Annie Turnbull Malone and Madam C.J. Walker and other Black hairstylists, they took issue with the straightening that they were doing. They felt like it was anti-Black. They said it was anti-Black, that hair straightening. There were even anti-wrap hair groups, like anti-hair wrap. You know how Black folks wrap their hair in order to keep it straight. So early 1900s, there were people that were calling themselves the anti-wrap group because they felt like that was aligning with whiteness. But you want to know what's crazy? People like Marcus Garvey, that was firmly against certain beauty preparations and hair straightening, he eventually learned to respect Madam C.J. Walker and other hairstylists. He respected them because guess what? Madam C.J. Walker, her hair care empire was helping to fund some of the political pursuits of Black people, including Marcus Garvey. So Black hairstylists and Black barbers have done so much. They poured into HBCUs. I think I heard Lori Tharp, I believe that's her name, the writer, one of the writers of Hair Story. She talked about how a group of Black barbers started in HBCU. So, I mean, people need to understand how much Black hairstylists have poured into our communities historically and are pouring into our communities now currently, which with you have the Black tight curl artists, the way that they've created industry, the way that they're moving their revenue among Black people. Like, it's simply amazing. And I feel like if people saw all the different connections, which I hope that they hear and they research from this video, I feel like they would be amazed and proud of what you all are doing as Black tight curl artists. And I'm going to quickly look at my notes to see if there's anything else.
I wanted to touch on the fact that people feel like it's anti-Black with what Madam CJ and Annie Malone were doing back in the day. They also have to realize the times, the styles, those things. It's not anti-Black for me to straighten my hair so I can get a job, like literally eat. Okay? Nobody wants me around with my hair looking like this in those times. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm wanting to get the job that's going to pay the bills in this particular industry or arena, I'm going to have to win and roam the situation. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things you do have to do. And I think that's one of the problems. I'm going to say it. That's one of the problems that we have now, is that we're not willing to do some of the things that we need to do to get further. That doesn't mean set your stuff aside, because if you can find something that allows you to look like this, back in the early 1900s and propel your legacy, do that. That's great. That's great. But if you cannot, are you going to be left by the wayside looking like this? Mommy, I'm hungry.
Exactly.
We don't have a roof over our head.
Yeah.
We don't have like those things, like these lines of wokeness, they need to be checked at the door, honestly, because like I said, sometimes when you get so inclusive, you become exclusive. You know what I'm saying? And the other way around. And people need to really think about that. It's like, listen, you gotta, that's like, black people, that, passing white, passing as white, passe blanc. They were doing what they had to do. Yeah, they may look white, but they had to feed their family. So they had to leave to go get the job and be white and marry white. You can't, you're gonna be mad about that. Like, you can't be mad about it. Just say, you know what? I'm glad that I don't necessarily have to do that now, because we still do code switching. Hello.
Yeah.
So if you code switch and you're black, it's the same thing. So then, is it safe for me to call you anti-black because you decided to code switch? Because you can go up there and talk with your black accent all you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta do certain things.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this because I hope it doesn't cut off at 8 o'clock, because I set it up to end at 8 o'clock. But people, when they're addressing what's anti-black and what's not, they also have to assess what people need to be able to live, to be able to thrive. That sometimes things are just superficial, but sometimes things are a key part of people being able to survive. I mean, and I also want to add to this. When we as black people, or you all as black tight curl hair artists, when you all say polished and things like that, what people have to understand is, from what I've seen, black people, even in pre-colonial times, they always had a standard of something that was polished. They've always had a standard of the hair being done. So this idea that an undone afro or smashed afro or these certain hairstyles are more black, what about the fact that many of our ancestors, if we just limit it to West Africa, they had their idea of what was polished. And I remember Lori Tharp, historian, she said that if you didn't have your hair done, they thought you were insane. If your hair was not done, polished in some sort of way. So we've always had a standard of something that is polished, but people do have to observe and check that standard to make sure that they're not giving whiteness too much credit within that standard. And that is a very difficult thing to do. And so now I'm going to ask you, are there any last things you want to say? Because I don't want it to cut off on us. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you want to say?
Just like you were saying with the anti-blackness, there's certain things, that, I mean, how black is black? What is black? If I wear my hair in braids and locks, is that black? Like, how far back are we going when we're talking about this? Mm-hmm. Because one could say that me wearing my hair like this is not black, and it's undefined because it's a week old. You know what I mean? It'd be like, no, your hair's not in locks. No, your hair's not in braids. This is what our people did. Our people, we're the people of the braids. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do on the continent. That's our thing. That's what we do, which it is, but that's not all we do.
Exactly.
Like, don't put us in. People are always talking about no labels. Don't put me in a box. Don't do it. Don't do it to us. Us as curl professionals, us as black folks that wear our curls, our waves, or whatever. So just make sure you're getting connected to someone who is an educated curl pro that can get you to where it is realistically, what it is that you want to look like out here in these streets.
Yes. So so I guess I want to thank you, JC, for a wonderful discussion. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I also think, aren't you the pro mentor over in See Some Curls?
I am the pro mentor in See Some Curls. If you want to join See Some Curls, which you should. It'll definitely get you set up before you get linked up with a curl professional, an educated curl professional. You can go to the link in my bio on my Instagram page, which is at Freshly Rooted Salon. And it'll be hashtag See Some Curls once you click the link in my bio.
Yeah, and I also put all of this information in the description box. You all should really check out See Some Curls. That's the consumer education. Consumers can learn about, you know, styling their hair, and no, it's not limited to wash and goes. No,
yeah,
no, it's not limited to wash and goes. This is basic. This is basic hair care that is taken up a notch to be clear and succinct for tight curlies, and you know, not even just for tight curlies, for curlies, period. I mean, and you know what? This is basic hair care that I've even helped apply to some people that don't have curls at all. So, yeah, I mean, you all, yes, you all, please check out See Some Curls. Check out the other links that I'm going to have in the description box, such as JC's information. Once again, my name is Fo. Thank you all for watching. Leave any comments, any questions you all have about today's discussion down below. And thanks for watching again. Bye-bye.